So the numbers are out for the month of April, and as they say, numbers don't lie. In fact, they are confirming what a lot of us have been feeling: slow market. Sales down by 14% year over year and are now sitting at about 27% below the 10 years average for April. At the same time, inventory levels are up by a whopping 75% compared to the historical norms. We are sitting on almost 4 months of supply across all home types in the Waterloo region and 8 months of supply for condos alone. That's not just a blip, it's a clear signal that we have shifted into a more balanced, even buyer-leaning market here in Waterloo region. If you are a buyer, this means you got more time, more choice, and more room to negotiate. But if you are selling, well, pricing strategy and patience are now a non-negotiable for you. Let's dive into the full April numbers, and I'll break down exactly what this means for you. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time to the channel and you're wondering who am I, my name is Dharmik Dixit. I am a local real estate agent serving Cautionary and surrounding towns, and I got people just like you who reach out to me looking to relocate in and around Cautionary Waterloo, and I absolutely love it. So whether you are thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 months, be sure to reach out. You can call me, text me, email me, or even schedule a Zoom call. All my contact info is right below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move in and around Cautionary Waterloo. Okay, so you can probably see my screen by now, and let's get straight into it. I have the report pulled up in front of me here, and I will actually link this whole report in the description below. So if you want to, get granular, get into more details, by all means you can do so. But let's take a closer look at it. What happened in the month of April? That was highly anticipated because spring was around the corner, and historically speaking, spring market is supposed to be a busy time for real estate activity. Well, that did not turn out to be the case. We only had about 600 homes, just under 600 homes sold through the MLS system in the region. And if you can see it further, that's about 14% decrease compared to the April of 2024. And in fact, if you were to take it a step further and rather compare with the previous 10 years average, that's a massive decline of about 27% compared to that 10 years average. Like I said, historically speaking, between March and almost until fall, right? October, it's considered to be the busy season for real estate activities. That's when majority of the transactions tend to happen, but that clearly does not seem to be the case for this year in terms of the real estate activities. And we all know the key reasons being the broader economic sentiments, the tariff threats we are facing, and the election we just had, and all those things, right? So let's come back to the report. I won't go into that. I will go into that in the later part of my video once we go through the report, sharing my thoughts. But for now, we're going to be focused into what it is. Home sales in April showed a typical seasonal improvement. Don't get too excited yet, but remained notably below the 10 years average. What we are seeing is a clear rebalancing of the market, with inventory levels up 75% above the 10 years average. So that's a massive rise in the inventory levels, if you ask me. And that actually poses a great opportunity for buyers. Might be taken as an unpopular opinion, but it is the fact. I'm not saying it out of FOMO. I'm not saying prices are going to go up and you will miss out. No, but I do say this does pose a great opportunity for many first-time home buyers, especially. This kind of market conditions did not exist for a long time, where buyers have a ton of options. They can be as picky as they desire, and they can make an informed decision, do their own due diligence, do their conditions, even negotiate with the seller to a great extent. And that's why I say this poses a great opportunity for buyers. And I think nearly 4 months of supply, this shift is creating more opportunity. Okay, there you go. More opportunities for buyers who now have more time for due diligence. We just talked about it, more negotiations. And sellers, if you are a seller, I would say you will have to be patient. You will have to, stick to the process. But more importantly, you will have to have your pricing and your marketing on point. And again, that just points it out right here: strategic pricing and patience. Because just putting it out on a yard is not going to sell your property anymore. At least it will not get you the desired offer. You'll get a lot of low ballers, and you will get a lot of tire kickers. So that's what the current market conditions allow for the buyers, because they have ton of options. And honestly speaking, I've been doing it with my buyers, where we're not budging. When seller come back with a higher price or try to counter with a higher price, I mean, we say, hey, you know what? Hold on to your thoughts. We are going to go to the next property and try to see if my clients can get that property, because they have a ton of options. So that's why I say, if you're a buyer, this could be a great time for you to, provided that you have some sort of stability in your finances and overall. And like I said, I'll share my thoughts in later part of the video. Total home sales included mostly detached homes, but again, it is down, however, 12% compared to last year, and about only a handful of townhouse. And that's an interesting trend, because if I look at the previous years, what you will see, in sales, townhouse do make a big chunk, more than what we have here for the month of April. But that again reflects the fact that overall market activity is slow. So the chunk for each property type, including townhomes, will be lower, but that is down by 20% year over year. So it is safe to say that, at least for looking at this data, if it continues or not, we will see. But demand for townhomes is declining, right? Why? Because buyers do have more options within their budget. That could be something other than townhomes. Could be semi, could be a detached, right? And included 71 condominiums. That's down by 22%. There is actually, I've mentioned in my previous updates, if you have been following it, but there is a worrying trend hovering around the condo market, and that's, we'll look into it. A small chunk of semis. We don't have a ton of semis in this market, so that was, only a small handful of semis sold for the month of April. Average sales price was, 789 and change. This represents a 1.7% decrease. Now, just keep in mind, again, I've mentioned in my previous videos, average sales price are, a mere reflection in the short run, but, it will help you more so in the long run, not so much in the short run. I'm not going to go through all these numbers for the average sales price for each property type. In fact, like I said, I will link this whole report down in the description so you can dive further deeper into it. But I always say, if you are a buyer or a seller, you want to be guided by the home price index tool. And again, take a step further. If you're really serious, then obviously the competitive market analysis provided by the real estate professional will be a gold standard to know exactly what your home could be worth, right? So taking it a step further, again, I'll skip the charts because we are going to go into it into the it shortly. We are going to look at all the remarks first, and then I will jump into the charts. So we had about close to just under 1,400 new listings added to the system. Now that's a decrease of about 5% compared to April last year. So it's not a massive decline. However, it is about 10% increase compared to previous 10 years average, right? So there is a sharp rise in the inventory. The difference is in this year versus previous years is the fact that new listings are not getting absorbed by the buyers as quickly given the current market conditions. So that is what is contributing to, we had close to 2,000 listings active as of the April market report in the region. So that's an increase of 40%, roughly 40% compared to April of last year. So that's, you can see there is a massive increase in the inventory, homes that are available for sale. And take it a step further, 75% above the previous 10 years average. 10 years average for the month of April for number of active listings was around 1,100. Guess what? You have close to 2,000 homes that are available for sale. And that's why I say, whether you like it or not, this could be a great time for many buyers, provided your personal and financial situations do allow you to consider making a move. The total inventory across the market went up by 52%, and we have close to 4 months of supply. So if no new homes were to come into the market as of today, will still take roughly around 4 months for the current inventory to get absorbed. That's what it means. Condo apartments had the highest inventory. I mentioned earlier there is a worrying trend around the condos. We are like close to 8 months of supply. And this is what surprised me, to be very honest. The fact that townhomes also did have a sharp increase in the supply, right? What that means is townhomes are not getting absorbed as much as we have seen in the past. During the peak of the market, when prices were ultra high and they started to gradually come down, majority of the first-time home buyers that were in the market those days, mostly what they could reasonably afford were a townhome, right? Whether it's a townhome with a condo fee or a freehold, depending on their budget. But majority of them falling within that, let's say, 6 to 800,000. Townhomes in various shapes and sizes were mostly what you could reasonably afford and find, right? But that trend is changing now with more inventory options coming in the market and prices slowly coming down. They're creeping down slightly month over month. With that being said, buyers do have more options, right? Other than the townhome, could be semi, could be detached. And that's why we are seeing townhomes are not getting absorbed as fast as we would like to see them. And overall, the average time to sell a home in April was 24 days. To give you some perspective, for the month of April, the average days on market is, historically well under 20 days. It's not supposed to take 4 or 5 weeks for a property to get off the shelf during the peak spring season for real estate. But that seems to be the case for this year, and that again does go hand in hand with the slowness of the market and slowness of activity in the real estate market as a whole. And I mean, you can see, right, like just April 2024, we had under 20 days, 18 days. I think April 2023 was even lower. We'll look into it when we go into the charts, but you can see the 5-year average. Now, I'm not too keen on this number. I would rather look at a 10-year average, because 5-year average included, 2.5, peak years, rather, like, 2021 to like part of 22 and part of 2020 as well. So we did see those peak. So it's not going to reflect truly the trend over a long run, because we had, unusually busy and high market activity. Now let's go into the charts that you have been waiting for. And again, I will link up all the charts in the description so you can dive in yourself too. But, we saw it, 595 homes, and this is what they consisted of. Mostly detached homes. Average sales price, we talked about it. It's a mere reflection in the short run. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Look at the condo prices for the month of March. Average price was 457. For the month of April, that was 473. That doesn't really mean that condo prices went up from 457 to 473. It's just that, we had $10 million in real estate sales for the month of April, and we had, let's say, for example, 10 homes sold. Average sales price would be $1 million. That's basically what it is. In the long run, you can see where, what the trend is for the prices. In the short run, it's not going to help you too much. Same with the median sale price. I will not dive into too detail for that. Average days on market, we looked at it, down by, about 3 days. We had 27 days in March to 24 in the month of April. We'll see if that continues to go down. It's supposed to, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be in a normal market condition, what it has been in the previous years. I'll just give you an example. Like, say April 2024, we saw it like it was 18 days. Let's look at April 2023. It was 16 days, right? So like I said, well below 20 days. That's historically what it used to be, going all the way back, even into the, 2019, 2019 was 20 days, right? So months of supply, we are seeing a sharp increase, and that's due to the fact that sellers are coming in the market, but guess what? Inventory is not getting absorbed. So that's basically contributing into more and more inventory, more and more options for the buyers every single month that passes by. That might change if sellers, start to react and say, you know what, we want to hold off and not sell for now. but that has to reflect into the market activity as a whole. But we are not seeing that yet. Sellers are still optimistic. That's what it seems like. New listings, we are seeing an increase, and that's what we see typically for the month, like spring months, like March, April, May, all the way through the summer. But we had like close to 1,400 new listings in the month of April. That's typically in line with what we see this time around the year. We are supposed to see more listings coming into the market. Homes for sale, however, went up. If you see just from December to now, it's pretty much doubled, right? The options for the buyers. Now, part of the fact we already mentioned is because of the fact that the current inventory is not getting absorbed and new inventory is coming into the market every single month. So if that continues to happen, we could very well shift into a complete buyer's market, but we are yet to see that. Dollar volume of sales, fairly low for the springtime. It's pretty much at the level we have seen in like 2023, right? And you can see like this dollar volume of sale, again, it's a good reflection of real estate transaction activities. Overall transactions, if they are low, the volume is going to be low, but you can see the peak of the market when transactions were ultra high, the number of total transactions, and so that was the dollar volume. So that's what it really reflects. Again, it's a nice to know number, not a big indicator of short-term market trends. So now that we have looked at the data, let's take it a step further and see how would you really navigate this kind of a market condition. Whether you are a buyer or a seller, I'll share my candid take, and you're more than welcome to comment your thoughts below, whether you agree with me, maybe you disagree with me, and that's completely fine. You can still comment down below and share your thoughts. I would love to know them. But if you're a buyer, especially if you're a buyer who has been, let's say, sidelined because of the growing uncertainties around the economy, the job market, all those things, I totally understand and appreciate your concern. But I can also emphasize that now can be a good time because of what we just saw in those numbers, right? I mean, there are a ton of options. There are great deals available in the market right now. And I do want to, draw a line here. There is a silver lining there. I'm not trying to sell fear. I'm not emphasizing or saying that, oh, you know what, if you don't buy right now or immediately, you're going to be priced out again. That's not going to happen. Don't let anyone tell you that. You are able to do your due diligence. You are able to put your conditions. Despite the multiple offer situations, we have been able to, put the conditions, and sellers are okay to work with it in most cases. In fact, you are able to negotiate on the prices with the seller. Well, this kind of market conditions, let me tell you this kind of market conditions did not exist for buyers for a very long time. So, yes, there is a lot of noise out there in the market. But having said that, if you think you and family are ready financially, emotionally, maybe it's that time for you in your life where you feel like making a move makes sense. Well, now can be a good time. You don't have to wait out just because of the noise that you're hearing in the broader economy. Having said that, let's jump a step further. And what would you do if you are a seller? Well, just like I said at the beginning of my video, this kind of market is gonna test patience for a lot of sellers. And you will have to do a lot of groundwork, I would say, before you even go out and put your property on the market. Because, first of all, working with an agent who is just gonna put it on MLS and hope and pray for the offers to come, that's not gonna happen, okay? You better have an agent who knows what they're doing, who is looking after your interest, and you are aligned with them in terms of prices, marketing strategy, everything that needs to be done to get you the desired number and to get you out of the market much quicker than what it's taking. That's what you want. And like I said, putting the sign out in the yard, it's not gonna work anymore. So you better do extra due diligence when you are working with a real estate professional. Keep the feedback loop open. You will have to be engaged as to what's really happening and how to adapt. I would say adaptability would be the key for you if you are a seller in this market, because we are seeing like it is shifting every month. And honestly speaking, if you feel like, okay, maybe I'm not getting the price that I desire and it's way off the market from what you're being told, then maybe staying off the market right now may be the best course of action. Maybe revisit when prices do recover somewhat. We don't know when, but that's what I would do. Patience would be the key, and you got to trust the process and work with the best in the business who is looking after your interest and who is aligned with what you're trying to do. So that's what my take would be if you're a seller. Having said that, obviously there are still a lot of economic uncertainty. We just went past the election not too long ago, so that's out of the way. But still, the broader economic conditions, we saw the unemployment data and so many other things that are not really, painting a very optimistic picture for the rest of this year. But we will continue to monitor it. I'm going to continue doing these videos to keep you guys updated on what's really happening truly in this current real estate market. So stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, if you did get some value out of this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell so you are the first one to get notified when that new video pops out. And whether you are thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 months, or if you just want to have a dialogue, trust me guys, I'm very easy to talk with. You can reach out to me. All my contact info is right below. I'll be more than happy to help you guys make a smooth move in and around Waterloo. Until next time, well, I will continue to show you guys around town.